John Morgan here, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live. And this week, I've got a little bit different of an episode for you. Because, well, unless you've been living under a rock, things are a little bit different right now. And that's what I wanted to address first this week. So, on our website, we had a sign-up form for our spring collar tour. But Mr. Coronavirus has kind of interfered with our plans. So we originally had the tour scheduled for, I believe it was April 18th. And because of wanting to limit, group size, and also, let's face it, most of the people that come on our tour are in the at-risk group, mostly older folks. Because of that, we want to forego the tour this year. So instead, I'm going to be putting together a virtual tour. So, same date as the Spring Collar Tour, we're going to have a virtual tour available that you can take online. And that's something that I'm going to be working on and getting ready. So it'll either be something pre-produced, or it'll be something that we do live, kind of like this show. So we have that to look forward to. The other thing is field trips. So here at Bob's, we have a lot of high school groups that come in, and they actually purchase partial plug trays from us to use in their own school greenhouses. And usually they bring in a class and they take a tour as part of purchasing their plugs for the season. And actually I had a tour scheduled for tomorrow that's now canceled. So, in wanting to go ahead and provide field trips for students, something else that we're working on is a virtual field trip. And that's something that I'm shooting to have up either by the end of this week or early next week. So keep an eye on our website, and somewhere on the website I'll have a link to a virtual field trip. And what I'm planning on doing is kind of making it interactive. So instead of just being one long video, I want to make it so there's activities associated with it and different things like that. So that's kind of my plan for the virtual field trip. And the last thing with this coronavirus thing that's going on right now, perhaps the best medicine is the medicine that we offer at Bob's, and that is to get outside and garden. So right now we're heading into springtime, and now is the perfect time to be starting your garden and planting your garden. And really, gardening is the best medicine. And hey, if the toilet paper shortage continues, you might want to plant some leafy crops. I'm just saying. Okay. So yeah, those are kind of the quick updates as far as coronavirus goes. As far as our stores, we're still doing business as usual. You want to be able to buy vegetable plants to plant that garden. And likewise at our Mason and Belpre stores, you want to be able to buy produce. So, and that's another thing, is we're working toward the opening at at Mason. We're still closed right now for renovations, but we're getting really close on being able to open up. So keep an eye out for that. But today, I was actually down there working on the new phone system that we're putting in at our Mason store. And while I was down there, I took a little break and walked out to the greenhouse directly in behind the market. And I thought I would share with you what's happening in the greenhouse right now. Those greenhouses, they tend to not get a lot of love when I do greenhouse update videos because they're kind of secluded and behind the market, and there are smaller greenhouses, so there's usually, not the same wow factor that our big 10-acre greenhouse here has. But right now, in those greenhouses in particular, we have a lot of stuff starting to bloom. So I think that's really going to cheer you up today. So let's take a look at what's happening out in the greenhouse.
Today I'm down at the area that we refer to as Location 1. It's the greenhouses right behind the market here in Mason. And it's part of the original location here at Bob's. And because of that, a lot of the greenhouses are smaller than our big greenhouse that I'm usually in when I'm doing greenhouse update videos. So in these greenhouses, we kind of have a mixture of stuff. Up in the front, we mainly have vegetable plugs. But then back here is where we grow baskets and a lot of our finished products. So in this greenhouse, overhead we have hanging baskets with osteospermum growing in them. So they'll be blooming a little bit later on this spring. And down on the floor, we have some of the first blooms of the spring. So these are mixed containers. And these mixed containers, they're called Trixie containers because they have 3 different plants in them. And then what we do is we actually add in a little Ipomea too. So it kind of blooms down over the side. But this one, it's called Trixie Starlight Starbright. And it's got just a beautiful petunia blooming in it. And a beautiful verbena that's just now starting to bloom. So I'll grab the camera and we'll take a closer look at this and some of the other stuff that we have growing here at Location 1. Remember back in January when we had all the ferns out on the floor at the big greenhouse up at our main location? Well, this time of year, we stick ferns pretty much anywhere we can find space for them. And in this greenhouse, we have it completely stuffed full of ferns. Down here we have tomato seedlings, and then up above we have begonias that are starting to bloom. Those are just beautiful. So this is one of our newer greenhouses down here at Location 1, and inside we've got some beautiful stuff blooming. Let me find the doorknob. There we go. So up above, we have New Guinea impatiens and plants like bridal veil. This will be just beautiful and have beautiful white little blooms on it later on. And then down below, we have gallons of confetti mixes. So let's take a look at those. Alright, some things just fill me with joy and make me want to get outside and garden. And one of those things is big, giant, beautiful blooms. And right behind me, we have dahlias that are blooming and they're beautiful. Let's take a look. Just look at that! It's so awesome! They're beautiful! I mean, these are perfect. Look at that. Every single one of them. Beautiful!
Okay, so Mike got a little bit carried away there at the end, but those dahlias, they are just gorgeous right now. And I know they're just going to get that much prettier as we head into springtime. So that's a little bit of what you can look forward to coming into spring. Before I end the live broadcast this evening, I wanted to show you a little bit of an update of something that we did a few weeks ago. So back a few weeks ago, I showed you how you can trim your Christmas cactus and use the cuttings to start new Christmas cacti. And something that I forgot to mention is when you trim a Christmas cactus, if you give it fertilizer and some water after you trim it, you can actually trigger it to bloom a second time. And that's what this guy is doing. So it's got just this beautiful bloom right here. But yeah, this is the section that I trimmed, and it put out buds, and now I'm treated to another set of beautiful blooms. So I've got this to kind of help cheer me up right now. But yeah, head out into the garden, get started with your spring gardening, and like I said before, that's perhaps the best medicine that you can do right now. And well, until next week, keep growing. You're still watching? I'm done. Well, since you're still here, head over to bobsmarket.com and check out our website. We've got some really cool stuff over there, like the Keep Growing podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, smash that notification bell, and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.